Before the insertion of IUCD, we had to take history especially of menorrhagia or polymenorrhagia or frequent cycles or history of dysmenorrhea. All these, whichever is contraindication, we should take. Also, it's very important to note down the last menstrual period in interval insertion, because we don't want to do after 10 days of LMP. We will explain to the patient what the procedure is going to be, and we have to show the IUCD to the patient, and after that take the consent of the patient for IUCD insertion. This is an OPD procedure. We don't need any anesthesia or sedation. Throughout the procedure, asepsis should be maintained, and IUCD is introduced under asepsis with no touch technique. We are not touching the IUCD with our hands. There are two methods of introducing the IUCD. One is withdrawal technique and another is just insert. In the withdrawal technique, after doing, first we do the PV examination and find out the uterine size and the flexion and version, uterocervical length and the total uterocervical length is noted, and accordingly on the introducer we will adjust the flange which will touch the external os, and we introduce this loaded IUCD into the uterine cavity. Then in the withdrawal technique, we hold the plunger steadily and the outer tube is withdrawn and the copper T is released inside. Whereas in multi-load, we just introduce with the applicator and then the applicator is withdrawn, because the fins, the multi-load is retained inside the uterine cavity. The LNG IUS has got a separate technique. After the introduction of IUCD, it will be placed like this with the flanges at the transverse arms at the fundus, vertical stem in the center, and with the IUCD thread hanging outside the external os. You can see the hormonal IUCD left side and the copper IUCD on the right side. After the insertion, we have to do some counseling. We have to inform the patient regarding the importance and schedule of the follow-up visit. She must visit you after her first period or after 6 weeks of the insertion, whichever is earlier. Then an IUCD card providing all relevant instructions and details of the IUCD introduced is given to her with her name and with the date of insertion written on that. She must retain that. It also has the warning signs written. She must read the card carefully. If she has any concern or any problem, experiences any warning signs, she must return at any time. Also, if she knows that the IUCD has been expelled, she must report to the health provider. Now, which are the warning signs which you must make her aware of? Warning signs is pains. P stands for period related problems or pregnancy symptoms. Suppose she has some very heavy flow or irregular bleeding or intermenstrual bleeding, or she has a flow for more number of days, or she has some pregnancy symptoms, she must visit you. Then next is abdominal pain. If she has abdominal pain anytime, say lower abdominal pain, or if she has dyspareunia, she is instructed to contact the doctor. In case of infections which may be manifest as excessive vaginal discharge, foul smelling vaginal discharge, or pain in abdomen, or it may be there is a fever, then she must come to the health provider. In general, if she is feeling sick, not feeling well, or fever, or she has chills, or she has some urinary symptoms, some abdominal symptoms, pain, then she must visit. She must come back for the follow up. And then any problem associated with the string, that means the string is the tail of the IUCD which is hanging outside the external os. That generally you will be retaining about 2.5 to 3 centimeters and cut it off. And you explain to her even before that, this when the strings are cut, the cut part is given to her and she is made to palpate it, feel it, how it feels, and she is supposed to feel the same in the vagina. That is when she is feeling for the string to know that it is there. So if she can no longer feel the presence of the string or tail of IUCD in the vagina, she must come. Now what are the complications? The immediate complications can be cramps, which can be treated with analgesics, or she may sometimes have syncopal attack, or immediately also there can be perforation if it is not properly done. These are the immediate complications. The late complications are pain in abdomen or abnormal uterine bleeding. That, as I already told, the bleeding may be more number of days bleeding than the normal menstrual cycle, or there may be more quantity of flow every day. Instead of one pad, she may be using 3-4 pads, so the flow is increased. Or there could be intermenstrual bleeding in between 2 cycles. She may be experiencing bleeding, spotting, or heavy bleeding. Then another late complication is pelvic inflammatory disease. She may have infection flared up. She may be having pelvic infection, and because of that she may be having severe pain or chills or fever. So this is some other complications, late complications. Or another complication is there may be spontaneous expulsion of the IUCD, which she may or may not be aware. If she is aware, it could be because she has seen the IUCD expelled, or during periods it may be she has seen it on her pads, or maybe she is unable to feel the threads in the vagina, or she may come with the pregnancy symptoms. Another complication is perforation of uterus. So, if the patient is pregnant with the history of IUCD insertion, when she comes to you, rule out expulsion of copper T. That by history you may be knowing, you can rule out if she tells you the history of copper T expulsion. If she doesn't give the history of copper T expulsion, you will do the speculum examination, and thread may not be seen or thread may be seen. If the thread is seen, then you can give her an option that the copper T can be removed. Now, the complications are to be explained of the copper T with pregnancy. There is increased chances of abortion, and there is also increased chances of preterm labor. The increased chance of placenta previa and abruption also, abruption of placenta, and there may be infection. So these are the problems when there is retained copper T. And you can give her the choice. If she wants, you can attempt to remove the copper T if the thread is seen. Suppose thread is not seen, then you can do the ultrasound and see if the copper T is inside the uterus, or maybe it is perforated. Then that is a more dangerous situation. If there is copper T inside the uterus with the pregnancy, then you can explain that there is again the risk of abortion or preterm labor, or a risk of placenta previa or abruption. Placenta previa, if it is there, you can see on ultrasound. Abruption may occur, you can explain to her. There is also more chances of low birth weight babies, more chance of cesarean section delivery, and congenital malformation. And if she accepts it, then she continues the pregnancy. IUCD will be expelled at the time of delivery. Now, complications if she gives history of not feeling the tail of IUCD and you do the per speculum examination and thread is not seen on speculum examination. Now, if she had the uterine LNP properly, you must rule out the pregnancy. You can do the ultrasound and see that there is no pregnancy. In that case, you can also do if there is no pregnancy, you can do the UPT, urinary pregnancy test, and if it is negative, you can pass a sound. After the clinical examination, when you find the uterus is normal size and she had a last menstrual period but thread is not seen. So it is possible that thread is within the uterine cavity, it is wound up and there is a copper T. So you want to rule out whether the copper T is in the uterine cavity or not. So you can do the uterine sounding, you may be able to feel the copper T. So if you feel the copper T in the uterus, then you have to attempt to remove this. It can be removed by using IUCD hook. There is a special hook which is available with which you can try to remove. But sometimes it is not easy to remove it and it may be embedded in the uterine wall. Then you can do hysteroscopy and under vision you can remove the copper T. Or what you can do is with uterine curette you can try to remove the copper T. Now, if you are unable to feel and if there is amenorrhea, then you must rule out pregnancy as I have told you. And then if there is pregnancy without copper T, then you give her a choice what she wants to do depending on the law, whether she wants termination. If it is legally okay, then you give a choice to the patient. Otherwise, if there is copper T with the pregnancy, I have already explained, you can try to remove the copper T if the tail is seen. If not, then she can continue with the pregnancy and the copper T will be expelled with the pregnancy. Now, if the tail of IUCD is not seen at external os and uterine sounding is negative, an ultrasound you have to find out if there is copper T present. Now, if it is not present, then she has expelled. But if it is present, then you have to find out whether it is in the uterine cavity or it is in the uterine wall or whether it is outside the uterus in the abdominal cavity. Very often ultrasound can help us to locate the copper T where it is, and additionally you can do an X-ray of the pelvis with the sound in the uterine cavity. You put a sound in the uterine cavity and take a X-ray of lateral view. Then you can see whether the image of the ultrasound is superimposing the sound, then it is inside the uterine cavity, or whether it is anterior or posterior to the uterine sound. It can be that sometimes even they have found a copper T in the bladder also. Sometimes it is in the uterine wall or sometimes it is in the peritoneal cavity. You can see this picture where this copper T marked by an arrow was found to be in the omentum of the woman in the abdominal cavity. Here you can see it is embedded in the uterine wall. So when the copper T has perforated the uterine wall, what you should do? If it is a Lippes loop, this is just a plastic and it doesn't have any, it's not medicated, there is no copper or progesterone it is inert. It will not cause any adhesions or injury to the intestines. But if it is a copper tea, then it can have an intense reaction and it will cause intestinal adhesions and intestinal injuries likely. So this needs to be removed by either laparoscopy or by laparotomy. Okay, now when do we remove the IUCD? When you remove the IUCD, a patient has a right to discontinue this method any time regardless of the reason. But when she comes for the IUCD removal, you should ask the reason for the removal and document it. And then you have to counsel the patient appropriately for further management. What are the indications for removal of an IUCD? Patient wants the IUCD removed because patient may be wanting to have next pregnancy, or maybe the lifespan of the IUCD is completed. Or patient may be having excessive bleeding or irregular bleeding or regular bleeding or whatever intermenstrual bleeding, may be spotting, whatever type of abnormal bleeding which is not acceptable by the patient, and she wants to remove it for that purpose. In case of the perforation of the uterus, you have to remove the IUCD. It could be partially expelled also. It could be in the uterine muscle, myometrium, and partly peeping out of the uterus. So you need to remove this. That is, or there may be partial expulsion. Sometimes the vertical stem of the copper T is seen at the external os, or it is in the cervical canal. Then you need to remove it. If there is a missing thread and the copper T is inside the uterine cavity or anywhere, you should remove it. If patient had the infection, flaring of salpingitis with infection, symptoms of fever, chills and all, it is better to remove the IUCD. And if there is a pregnancy with copper T, if possible and if acceptable to the mother, you can remove it. Postmenopausal, after 1 year, you remove the IUCD. Lifespan of IUCD. Commonly used IUCD's lifespan is copper T2 200 is 3 years, multiload 250 is 3 years, multiload 375 is 5 years, copper T380A is 10 years, and LNG IUS is 5 years. As the amount of the copper or the surface area of the copper increases, the lifespan of the IUCD increases, and also the failure rate is reduced with increasing amount of copper. The failure rate is 0.5 to 2 per 100 women year, depending on which IUCD you are talking about. The third generation IUCDs have minimum side effects and the failure rate is also minimal. Thank you.